rattling off, okay, you know, let's start taking nominations for committee members. And then somebody raises their hand and says, I make a motion that we submit the slate of candidates selected by the election committee. Well, whose election committee? We didn't even know. We didn't even know there was such a thing. And somebody else, I mean, within a nanosecond, jumps up and says, I second it. The chairman says, okay, accepted. You know, they take the slate of candidates. Well, they've already got on a piece of paper who they want. They've got their 10, 15 people. That's it. Done. Closed. No one else gets nominated. So we watched this go through a couple of other elections that were taking place. But when it got to this particular executive committee, we were starting to catch on. So, of course, using Robert's Rules of Order, CJ jumped in and said, whoa, get out of here, point of order, you know. And by this time, it was already, the motion was made, it was seconded, it was closed, it was a done deal. They were going to take this slate of candidates. Of course, like I said, when we jumped up, we objected essentially, and it's done though. They didn't know what to do. The chairman was looking around this direction. He didn't know what he was supposed to do at that point. No one's done this before. So, you know, he's leaning over somebody next to him and whispering to them, and they're telling him something, and somebody comes running up from the back, and they're whispering to him, and finally, somebody else in the crowd jumps up and says, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? Come on. Well, what we did was we objected, and we said we wanted to reopen the nominations. Of course, the chairman looked around and said, can we do that? Somebody, you know, and so they started debating quietly amongst themselves, whispering whether or not we had a legitimate opportunity to do this. And finally somebody jumped up and said, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? I mean, let's reopen the nominations. Now, this was somebody we didn't even know. There was about 15 of us. We knew
Suddenly the room went to our side.
And they knew who we were. We all had Campaign for Liberty stickers that we were wearing proudly for the whole convention. And then somebody else jumped up across the room and said, yeah, I agree, we should reopen it. We need some fresh blood in this organization. It's been the same people year after year. We were shocked. I mean, next thing you know, someone else says, yeah, I agree. And then, you know, an argument ensued. And, you know, then, of course, the arguments started and so forth. And finally, we got to reopen. Of course, they tried, I'll tell you what they'll do. They'll try to rewrite the rules right there on the spot, too. So then they said, well, you know what? Then if you're going to reopen nominations, then everybody has to get up and give a speech. You know, like that.
They had nominating speeches, yeah, on the spot. We nominated like 13 people.
Speech if you're elected, or if you're nominated.
That's classic.
Scare us. All right, so I nominated this person, and he nominated me, and that person nominated me. We just started nominating each other, so by the time we were done, we put 9 more people on the
Yeah. Yeah.
So, of course, one by one, we had to get up in front of the caucus, sit at the podium, and get a 30-second stump speech, 60 seconds max. You know? And they had us all lined up along the front wall, one at a time, walking up to the podium. I'm Dan Osterman, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so finally we had to vote. And, of course, we didn't really have any expectation that we were going to get anybody, because we figured it was all stacked against us. There was about, I would say, about 100 people were in the room, and there was about 15 of us, and 9 of us on this.
Yeah, they got elected. They actually got elected.
Turned out we put 3 people.
Yeah.
We displaced 3 of their slated candidates, and we put 3 people. George got on, I got on, and Paul Garner, who's not here, also got elected. So we're now sitting on the executive committee. So it can be done, is what I'm telling you. We can change it. We can have an influence. We just got to show up, all right?